And this one is on finding the surface area of triangular prisms instead of rectangular prisms. So the idea is we're still going to find the surface area, meaning finding the area of each of the sides, but there isn't a shortcut. You just have to go ahead and find the surface area of each of the 5 faces, and that's why you can't use a shortcut. In a rectangular prism, everybody had a matching side, so if you found the front, you knew what the back was. If you found the right, you knew what the left was. But here, there's 5 faces. You're not always going to have matching partners to go with it, so you just got to go ahead and find each of the different faces. My suggestion is start with the triangle. So let's find the area of this triangular piece here. So this is our front face, and I like to put a little triangle next to it to remind me that it was a triangular one. Remember, to find the area of a triangle, you need the base and the height. So always look for that right angle symbol. So here's my height of 5. Here's my base of 8. So I do base times height, but it's a triangle, so I divide by 2, and that gives me 20 millimeters squared. While I'm doing the front, go ahead and do the back. This is the only place where you're going to have matching pieces. The front and back are both the same. So I'm going to write the back. Again, it's a triangle, but it's got the same measurements. 8 times 5 divided by 2, because it's a triangle, and we get 20 millimeters squared. That's as much of a shortcut as we're going to get. Now we have to start to break apart the rest of it. And the easiest way to think about it is each of these sides are going to be rectangles. So let's start with the bottom. And I find that kind of drawing it out or even shading it in helps me focus on just that part within a bigger picture. And I can focus on just the bottom. Bottom's a rectangle. It's 8 by 12. So 8 times 12 gives me an area of 96 millimeters squared. Then I switch it up. Now let's do the right-hand side. So some people will call this the side or the right, but again, if it helps, darken it in. I'm going to call this the right. Again, it's got a height of 5, and then this distance going back is the same as this one over here. So it's 12 by 5, which gives me an area of 60 millimeters squared. So I'm just finding the base and the height for each of them. And then we have our last side. It should always be 5 sides. So for some people, you're going to call this the top. For other people, since you did a right, you might call it the left. I'm okay with either. So either the top or the left. It's got a base of 12, and the height, the distance going up, is my 9.4. Notice that that's the only time that 9.4 came into play. That got me 112.8 millimeters squared, for once I did my math ahead of time for us. So we just found the area of each of the 2 triangles. They're both the same, but again, focus on your base and your height. And don't forget to divide by 2. And then for each of the other sides, each of my other rectangles, I just found its measurements. But drawing on it, shading it, coloring it in really does help. And then when you're done, add all the pieces together, just like we would for a rectangular prism. In this case, we would get a total surface area of 308.8 millimeters squared. It's surface area, so it's always squared. But our total area, so the area of all the different faces, what it would take to cover this whole shape, is 308.8 millimeters squared. So sometimes the triangles are going to be right there in front of you. Sometimes the triangles are going to be the tops and bottoms. Doesn't change it though. Focus on it one piece at a time. So I always like to get the triangles out of the way. So here's my top piece. So I'm going to call it the top, but I'm going to mark it as a triangle to help remind me. Remember, for triangles, always look for the base and the height, which ones meet at a right angle. So I've got an 8 and a 15. So 8 times 15, then I'm going to divide by 2. 8 times 15 divided by 2 is 60 yards squared. And if I know the top, I also know the bottom. And again, the shading just helps me focus on that whole shape without getting lost in all the other lines. So the bottom's also a triangle. But notice I didn't use that 17 because I want the base and the height that meet at that right angle back there. So I'm still going to do 8 times 15 divided by 2 is 60 yards squared. You always know those two pieces are going to be the same. Now I start to break apart my rectangular sides. So let's start with front. We need a base, that's my 17, and a height, that's my 11. So 17 times 11, and that's going to give me 187 yards squared. Again, some of you might be able to see some of this without coloring it in. Even for me, as much as I've done this before, I still like to shade it in because it really helps me focus on just one part of it. So now we're going to do the right-hand side, or some people will just call it the side. It's got a base of 8 and a height of 11. So 8 times 11 is 88 yards squared. Hopefully you didn't grab a calculator for that one. And then we have one last piece. Let's take this one back here. It's kind of this back edge here. So some people will call it the back. Other people will call it the left since they did a right. But it's got a base of 15 and a height that's the same as this 11. So 15 times 11, and that's 165 yards squared. So I just found the area of my two triangles. Always look for that base and that height. Then I found the area of each of the rectangular sides. There's always going to be 3, so you should have 5 sides total. When I'm done, add them all together, and that gives you the surface area of the whole shape. In this case, my surface area is going to be 560 yards squared. If you need to, go back, rewatch part or all of those 2 examples, but then you're going to complete the 4 on the back of the page. You're not only finding the surface area, but you're also finding your volume. So think of surface area first, and then find volume. But be careful, don't mix those 2 together. You have to be careful about having the right information there. But when you get those done on the back of the page, come up, check it with me, and we'll go on from there.